Well, we will get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brenda Schaefer-Pellenin. My pronouns are she, her, and by way of physical description, I am a middle-aged cisgender woman with auburn pixie cuts and wearing a mustard yellow short-sleeve shirt. And I am joined today by my colleague, Ashley Creglow with the Arrowhead Area Agency on Aging. We'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining us for today's session on accessing food resources in the Arrowhead region. Before we get started, we're going to take care of a few housekeeping items. We are excited to announce that today's webinar will be accessible to a wider audience. We have arranged for ASL interpreters who will be present throughout the session, and these interpreters will rotate through about every 20 minutes, ensuring that everyone can follow the content effectively. If you do need to access the interpretive services, you can see on the bottom of your screen, there's an interpretation button on your Zoom, and you can click on that and select it, and that will open up a separate window for you, which will have the interpreters. Additionally, we are recording the entire webinar with this ASL interpretation, and these recordings will be available on our YouTube channel for later viewing. So whether you attend a live session or you catch up later, you'll have the opportunity to engage with the material in a way that suits your needs. I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can keep up with the latest additions to our video library. We are always looking for suggestions for future webinar topics. So if you have suggestions for topics or speakers, please feel free to send those to us either in the chat or you can email us directly after, and we'll put our email addresses in the chat. Please keep your microphone set to mute. Just to note, if you do have any issues with bandwidth or audio quality, it often helps to disable your camera. If you'd like, at this time, you can enter your first name and organization or community that you're from in the chat and what you're hoping to get out of today's session, how you found out about it. If you have any questions during today's session, please feel free to enter your question into the chat and we will address them at the end of the presentation. At the close of today's session, you'll also see a quick evaluation of the session pop up in your browser. Please take a moment and complete that survey. It does help us greatly when we're planning future sessions. And one last reminder, visit our Facebook page for more information about upcoming sessions, such as our September session on supportive decision making and our October session on navigating transit in the Arrowhead region. You can also check those out on our website at arrowheadaging.org. A little bit, next slide, a little bit about the Arrowhead Area Agency on Aging. We are designated by the Minnesota Board on Aging as the Area Agency on Aging for the Planning and Service Area under the authority of the Title III of the Older Americans Act. The Area Agency on Aging is committed to helping older adults maintain their highest level of independence. Area agencies on aging are regional organizations that provide services, supports, and information for just about everything that older adults and their families or caregivers could need. Minnesota has 7 AAAs across the state that are local connections to older Minnesotans and the community supports that they might need as they age. The Arrowhead Area Agency on Aging service area is designated by the Board on Aging to include the counties of Aiken, Carlton, Cook, Itasca, Couchiching, Lake, and St. Louis. Now, I would like to take a moment to read our Arrowhead Area Agency on Aging land acknowledgement. As we support our mission to help older adults maintain their highest level of independence, we do this while being respectful of the space we are being welcomed into by Indigenous people. We strive to deepen our understanding of the multiple ways in which people see and understand land and acknowledge the Indigenous people who have relationships with this land. We also acknowledge the decades of historical trauma, loss, and grief experienced by Indigenous people. It is our promise to not only recognize these truths, but to take action to show support of our Indigenous elders, neighbors, and friends, and understand our place within the past, present, and future of this land. We know that this is just one step in recognizing the sovereignty of tribal nations. So we are honored to be joined today by our first presenter for today, Callie Frederick. Callie has over 7 years of experience working in public assistance programs for St. Louis County. As a public assistance trainer, she focuses on educating and training others on the range of benefits available to residents of Minnesota. Her passion lies in making public resources more accessible and empowering both colleagues and community members through clear, effective program training. Thank you, Kelly, for being with us today, and I will turn things over to you.
Oh, thank you so much. And I am very honored to be here. So thank you. Again, my name is Callie, and I am part of the training team with the St. Louis County Economic Services and Supports Division. Today, I'm going to be talking about the food support program and how our county can assist you or someone you know with benefits. So what is SNAP? SNAP provides monetary assistance to households to supplement their monthly grocery budget so they can afford food essential to their well-being. SNAP is state and federally mandated and funded. In Minnesota, counties are responsible for administering the program. In St. Louis County, financial workers are responsible for processing and approving the benefits. Currently, around 140 financial workers work to process these benefits in our area. Just a little quick overview here. 10,788 households receive food support each month in St. Louis County, and over 31.7 million benefits were paid out in 2024 in our county alone. Some SNAP info to know. SNAP eligibility and benefit amount is determined by many factors, including income, household size, and living expenses. Benefits can be prorated based on the date of application. SNAP is available to eligible assistance units. Assistance units are made up of single individuals or groups of people. SNAP benefits are issued on an electronic benefit transmittal or EBT card. This card is typically mailed to the household about 7 business days after approval if the assistance unit does not currently have one. EBT cards are accepted at a wide range of locations, including some farmers markets. For some assistance units, they may be eligible for expedited processing. Expedited processing allows an applicant to complete the interview quickly and approve benefits no later than the 7th day after the date of application. Units reporting the following may be eligible for expedited processing. Any unit that has less than $150 in countable income and $100 or less in liquid assets. Liquid assets are resources available to the owner without a barrier, such as cash on hand, a checking or savings account, or any electronic payment services like PayPal or Venmo. If a unit has a destitute migrant or seasonal farm worker who has less than $100 or less in liquid assets, or if the unit has a combined monthly countable income and liquid assets less than their monthly housing costs and standard utility deductions. It is important to fill out the questions under the "Do you need help with food right away" section on the application form. It's important to fill it out honestly and accurately to determine if expedited criteria has been met. There are different ways to apply for benefits. A combined application form is a paper application with 24 questions that can be picked up at any of the 4 county offices in Duluth, Virginia, Hibbing, or Ely, or it can be mailed to the unit. It can also be printed from the Minnesota Department of Human Services website called eDocs. This application can be dropped off at any county office, mailed, emailed, or faxed back to the agency. There's a specific application for individuals or couples over the age of 60 wanting to apply for SNAP benefits. This application is a condensed version of the CAF with only 13 questions tailored to individuals over the age of 60. This can also be obtained via office, mail, or printed from the website. Another option is an online site called MN Benefits. This site offers the CAF electronically and can be submitted directly through the site. The site also allows for documents to be uploaded directly with the application. Info to know. The application process can be daunting to some, so here's some helpful information to guide individuals through the process. A complete application has all questions answered, signed by the applicant or the applicant's authorized representative, and is date stamped by the agency. That date stamp determines the date of application. A signature is required for the application and can be done by any adult in the unit or their authorized representative. It can be a physical, electronic, or verbal signature. The agency is required to follow certain processing standards for every application. For the SNAP application, the agency reviews for completeness, schedules and conducts an interview, verifies mandatory and inconsistent items, determines eligibility, and sends a notice. This process must be completed within a 30-day processing period. Let's talk about some mandatory items. Listed on this slide are some mandatory verifications that will be required with any SNAP application. Social Security numbers of all individuals applying and Minnesota residency can be given verbally or written directly on the application. Identity and income require documentation outside of the application form. During the interview, the financial worker will discuss and review all mandatory verifications and provide a written request for this information if not received directly with the application. I mentioned earlier in the presentation that SNAP is issued to eligible assistance units. Just to give a little more information on that, an assistance unit is defined as a person or group of people who live together and whose needs are considered when determining eligibility. Please note there does not have to be a familial relationship to be part of an assistance unit. There are some household members that are going to be considered mandatory and others that may be optional. For more information, please contact our agency. We will be happy to provide clarification on any specific situation you may have. Your living arrangement may impact eligibility for SNAP. In most cases, if an individual resides in any sort of facility setting, they are not eligible to receive SNAP due to likely receiving their meals within the setting. However, individuals in an assisted living facility that opt out of receiving one or more meals a day may be eligible to receive SNAP. The county agency determines eligibility. Once the benefits have been approved, individuals may need to contact outside sources for additional information. If someone has a question regarding their EBT card, including but not limited to their balance, ordering a lost or stolen card, or changing their PIN, they should contact EBT Edge via website or the phone number listed here. If someone has a question regarding what they can purchase with their SNAP benefits or where their EBT card may be accepted, they should visit the USDA Food and Nutrition Services website, as they will have a more complete list. And that is all I have today. Thank you so much for your time and allowing me to present this information. If you have questions about your case or helping any individual or household apply, please reach out to our teams by visiting any of our 4 county locations, calling our teams directly, or emailing. We are here to guide you through the process and provide a much needed benefit to our community.
Thank you so much, Callie. We greatly appreciate it. Next, we are going to move on to Marilyn Osepik. Marilyn has been with the Arrowhead Economic Opportunity Agency for 50 years, 45 of those as the Senior and Nutrition Services Director. So Marilyn, thank you so much for being with us today, and I will turn things over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. The next slide has the list of all of our resources, that food access resources. And as Callie has gone into the SNAP application and that, I'm going to leave my comments fairly short. The Senior and Nutrition Services is one of the departments at AEOA. And our larger two programs are Meals on Wheels and Senior Dining. Those have been in operation for over 50 years. Those are funded through the Older Americans Act. Our Groceries to Go is another Older Americans Act program. And like I said, the SNAP, Callie has already covered that. We also do the Northeast Minnesota Food Shelf Network, Little Food Pantry, EBT at Farmers Market, Meet Up and Chow Down with United Way, and the Virginia Food Forest. And I see one of the attendees is Marlise Riffle, and she's one of our, with Iron Range Partners for Sustainability. She's one of our partners. Next slide. So here's our nutrition program, Congregate, which is senior dining at a central location and home delivered meals delivered to a person's home. You'll see on the right our picture of our delivery, one of our delivery vehicles. It's a refrigerated and freezer capacity, and it runs around our 7-county service area, which is for our senior meals. Next slide. Qualifications for the program is for both programs, including groceries, is that you have to be 60 or older. And for home delivered meals, you have to also be homebound. You can see that our menus provide over 40% of dietary intake. And because we're Older Americans Act program, we don't charge for this service. We can ask for a suggested contribution, and right now it's at $450, and we're probably looking at for next year a range of a contribution, which I think most providers across Minnesota are doing right now. But you've seen things about senior dining or Meals on Wheels being more than just a meal. For a lot of folks, it provides a social opportunity. For others, a lot of our home delivered meals drivers are well into their 80s and some into their 90s delivering meals. And so it's social opportunity. It provides a connection to other services, and it's a very important service. Next slide. What you see in front of you are some of our Diners Club locations where they're in a restaurant, and which is a little different from the 5 on-site kitchens that we operate, where I have employees out there and they provide a noon meal. At the Diners Club, it could be they set the times in that themselves, and people have an opportunity to order off of a senior menu, and you can see the locations there. Next slide. I'm going kind of through it because there's a lot of services here, but going back to the nutrition program, this congregate and home delivered meals. Currently, just to give you some information, that we have about 8,000 unduplicated clients that we serve in a 7-county service area, and over 320,000 meals are served annually between the two programs. Our grocery program, we go across the northern St. Louis County from Chisholm-Hibbing to the Quad Cities area to Mesabi East up to Cook and that. And that eligibility is similar to home delivered meals. You have to be 60 years of age or older and homebound. And the information there is, for contact information. That program, of course, needs volunteers too to shop and deliver groceries. There are some services out there that they may just pick up the groceries and deliver it to a client. Our program is a little different, where we shop and deliver. Next one. You know what, we're gonna just go to the next, we're gonna kind of pass on this one. You can go to the next couple slides. I'm not going to do, you can see our contact information, and the area agency is going to share our this presentation. So we'll pass on this one. And we'll go right into the Food Shelf Network. Okay. AEOA has a network, and on the session here is Carrie Pellinen. She oversees the Food Shelf Network, and what our agency provides to that food shelf network, or those food shelves, is that we provide the nonprofit status, corporation status. And in the last couple of years, it's been a very interesting year. We've had food shelves in our network that have purchased facilities, starting with I believe Ely was one of them. They purchased a facility. Quad Cities purchased a facility in the Mountain Iron area, and now Tower and Aurora are the next two that have. And what you're seeing in the picture here is the Tower Food Shelf. It's in the former Presbyterian church. And with our nonprofit status, those facilities are in the AEOA's name, the purchases. What we help the food shelves with is not only our nonprofit status, is that we provide accounting services, bank accounts. You can see there, we have the liability insurance audits and that, but we also help them quite a bit with, writing grants on their behalf. There's remodeling. With the purchases, there was some remodeling that had to be done. You could see the shelving at the Tower food shelf that all had to be purchased. And those food shelves, of course, are operated by volunteers, and we have the RSVP program that Carrie operates. Next slide. So here's our little food pantry that's at AEOA. But in the Virginia area, there are 3 of these little free pantries. And right next to it is the United Way, a little library. And Carrie and her staff put food in that pantry on a daily basis, and people in the community can help themselves. We put it in at different times, so it's not always the same folks, and people just help themselves. We've had folks in the neighborhood who donate food and put it in there too. So it's for those that maybe can't get to the food shelves, in near them, and this makes it nice that they can help themselves without any barriers. Next slide. Callie mentioned the EBT availability of the farmers market, and our agency does that. We use CAP community action dollars to fund that, and we have four area farmers markets that provide the EBT. And for more information, with the EBT, your folks are also able to access like market bucks and produce bucks and power produce, and it's a little bit overwhelming. But you know what? It's a good system, and if you spend $10 worth of your EBT, at times you can get an additional $20 worth of tokens to use at the farmers market. So it's a great service. Next slide. Meet Up and Chow Down. We partner with the United Way, and you can see the poster that United Way has put together for this year. It's running from June 9th through this month, and we hand out lunches at our front door to area children from 1 to 18, and the picture I have here is with Arrowhead Transit. You can see it was during the COVID, but Arrowhead Transit picked up the meals from the school and delivered them to our agency to hand out to the area kids. Usually the Meet Up and Chow Down goes from Monday through Thursday, and Thursday we hand out dry lunches over the weekend then. During the week, it could be sandwiches and yogurt and things like that, but they have a buddy backpack meals for the weekend then. Next slide. What I also want to mention is that the Meet Up and Chow Down, those meals are handed out by AEOA staff from our facility, and so there's a calendar. People sign up to spots that they would like to volunteer at them. So I mentioned that Marlise is on this presentation, and she's with Iron Range Sustainability, and she had a big hand in getting the Virginia Food Forest. I put some pictures together. Some of these are older, but you can see that in 2019, there were over 24 fruit and nut trees planted. We leased the property through the city of Virginia. We have a 10-year lease at $1 a year. and it's operating to this day, and the community can go and help themselves to those perennial plants, and then they also have some annual vegetables that they plant too. And I think I think that's it. What I'd like to mention is I also sent to Brenda that our agency, or Carrie and her staff, put together the Iron Range Food Resources Guide. It's 3 sheets, and hopefully Brenda will get that out to attendees to take a look at. It lists the different food shelves, their hours, days of operation, and again, also for the farmers markets, the days that they're open, hours of operation, and so forth. And of course, the last page here are all the contact information that for each of the services. I think that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Marilyn. It's just overwhelming.
Sorry for you know what, it is overwhelming. There's a lot of things up in the air, and I
But
think
we're
we do.
so lucky to
Yeah,
have all these programs available.
Yes, we do. I think we do a wonderful job. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Next, we're going to move on to Tricia Zimmerman. Tricia is the Director of Development in Second Harvest Northland. She joined Second Harvest North Central Food Bank in Grand Rapids in 2016, following her roles with Visit Grand Rapids and the Blandon Foundation, and as a business owner. And Tricia's interest in food banking was inspired by her father-in-law's passion for the organization. In 2023, she took a leave of absence to pursue her career goal of becoming an executive director of a nonprofit. However, realizing her true passion lay in hunger relief, she returned to the newly merged organization in March of 2024. A native of Grand Rapids, Tricia is a graduate of Bemidji State University. She's been married to her husband Paul for 25 years, and they have 2 daughters. Emma, who's in her final semester at UMD, and Maya, a junior in high school and a PSEO student at Minnesota North Itasca. So I will turn things over to you, Tricia.
Perfect. Thank you all for having me here today. I recognize a lot of your names through my time with Elder Circle, so I'm honored to be presenting information about Second Harvest today. I'm going to give you an overview of our organization just because we've had a lot of changes over the last couple of years, but I will talk about our programs. And on the very last slide, we will have information of an individual you can contact. Her name is Daryl Olson. She is part of our programs team. So for any help in regards to seniors, she would be the individual you could contact, but you're always more than welcome to reach out to me too. So Second Harvest Northland is the Northland's largest hunger relief organization. We were founded in 1984. Our vision is hunger-free communities where all voices are heard and valued, and our mission is to end hunger in Northeast Minnesota and Northwest Wisconsin. Go ahead. Our impact. So Second Harvest Northland was formed with the merger of 2 similar organizations. For those of you who don't know, we had Second Harvest North Central Food Bank in Grand Rapids and Second Harvest Northern Lakes Food Bank in Duluth. That merged as of January 1st of 2024. And this merger occurred as part of the succession planning for Sue Esty, the now retired executive director of Second Harvest North Central. We ensure that more than 1 million nutritious meals are distributed throughout our 15-county region annually with the work and help of our partner agencies and through our own programs that we run. And this is a map of our service area, so you can see it's over 27,000 square miles that we serve. Go ahead. For those of you who aren't familiar, Feeding America has a report that you can find on their website. It's called Map the Meal Gap. And what that does is it tells us how many people are food insecure within our region. So within Second Harvest Northland's region, approximately 68,610 individuals, including 18,800 children and over 10,000 seniors, are food insecure in our service area. And with the high inflation and the end of the USDA pandemic benefits like eSNAP, we have seen an increase throughout our Northland food shelves of over 30 to 40%. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the increased need within your area over the last few years. Go ahead. So our programs. So Second Harvest Northland is a food bank. So our primary role is to serve as the region's only food bank. So our job is to source and distribute local, regional, and national donated and purchased food throughout a 15-county region to our partner agencies like food shelves, on-site meal programs, and also work with tribal organizations. In 2024, over 20% of the individuals visiting our food access partners, so again, regional food shelves, on-site meal programs, over 20% of the individuals visiting our partners were seniors. All donated product that we receive as an organization is free to our partner agencies with the exception of a nominal delivery charge. And it's been shared with us that as much as 90% of the food distributed by the food shelves within our region, there's over 60 of them, come from Second Harvest Northland. Next. So Second Harvest Northland runs multiple programs. One of the programs that we run is the Nutrition for Seniors program. This is a government commodity program where seniors that are 60 plus and meet the income eligibility guidelines can receive a box of food and a brick of cheese every single month. This is wholesome USDA shelf-stable food like fruits, vegetables, cereal, meat, and dairy items. Our program offers a drive-through pickup and a proxy. So if there is a senior that is eligible for this program, but is unable to pick up the box themselves, they can send an individual on their behalf to pick up that box. Next. Our food shelf program. So Second Harvest Northland has 2 food shelves that we run. We have one in Duluth, which is a drive-through program, and another one in Grand Rapids, which is an in-shopping program. When an individual arrives to either one of our food shelves, they are asked, so they self-identify. There's no requirements to provide any proof that they meet our income guidelines or are in crisis. If somebody comes to us and says, I'm in need of food, we are not going to turn them away. We want to make sure that they have what they need and their families have what they need. Again, this is a drive-through. This is the photo that you see here on the screen, a drive-through in Duluth, and then our in-person shopping in Grand Rapids. Next. Our mobile food pantry program. So a lot of you might be familiar with this. We've been doing it for a really long time, but you saw a lot of it during COVID. Basically, a mobile food pantry program is like a food shelf on wheels. So what we do is we identify communities within our region that have low access and high need. So that might be, for example, let's say there's a community in our region that has a food shelf, but maybe that food shelf is only open once a month, but we're finding that the need is very great in that community. We might assist that community by coming in with a mobile pantry. And so what we do is we find a location within that community. Our trucks come in, they set up just like the photo here, and then we utilize volunteers within that community to distribute the food to their neighbors in need. We have 19 of these that we currently run, and we are constantly evaluating the access and need across our whole entire region. So we won't always see these mobile pantries being at the same locations forever. We will see them change based on what it looks like for their community. Next. Our school pantry and backpack program. So our school pantry program is like a mini food shelf within a school. So schools partner with Second Harvest to receive food that they can distribute to the children. So the school pantry, again, is like a mini food shelf. So that's where students, families can access the food anytime the school is open or has that space available to them, and they can receive the food to take home and have meals in the evening or over the weekend. So again, the goal of this program is to provide food for meals, not to necessarily provide snacks. The backpack program, very similar to, I think a lot of you are aware of the Buddy Backpack program. United Way of Northeast Minnesota is fantastic. They run that program. We run a backpack program across our whole entire region also. Same concept, we're providing food that the children can take home for the weekends and either have available to them or their families to eat. We try to make sure that this food is nutritious, but also is easy to open and easy to prepare. So one of the things that's a very interesting statistic is across Minnesota, more than 70,000 grandchildren are being raised by their grandparents, according to the state. So I know for me, I get to travel around our whole region and talk to a lot of individuals. And I remember there was an opportunity to talk to a gentleman in Aiken, and he was there picking up food, and I got in a conversation with him, and he said, when my wife and I retired, we planned for retirement for her and I, but he said, now we have custody of our grandchildren and I need more help. And that's why I'm here today. So it just brings you kind of back to reality around the fact that we don't always know why individuals need to utilize our services, but we have to make sure that they have the food that they need in order to stay healthy and strong. Next slide. Again, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. But food provides stability and nourishes their Northland neighbors in need. It allows children to grow healthy and strong. It allows seniors to get the essential nutrition that they need. So whether it's one of our programs or AEOA or anybody else that is helping our neighbors with the food that they need, I just want to say thank you, because it's so important that we are able to provide them with that nutrition. Next slide. So again, Daryl Olson, she's our Senior Nutrition Program Coordinator. If you have any questions about our programs in regards to seniors or in general, you can always reach out to Daryl and or myself, and we'd be happy to help you.
Thank you so much, Tricia, for all that information. Again, it's overwhelming what everything that you guys are out there doing. Our last presenter for today is Susan Anderson, and Susan has a BS in Sociology and History from University of Wisconsin-Superior and worked previously in the field of developmental disabilities until she retired. Now she is a volunteer rock star for many organizations in the Duluth area and has been involved with Ruby's Pantry at Coppertop Church for 15 years. She enjoys gardening, hiking, kayaking, and walking with her 5-month-old golden retriever, Robbie. I will turn things over to you, Sue.
Well, I'm very happy to be here and to perhaps introduce many of you to Ruby's Pantry. Ruby's Pantry, and I don't have slides, I'm just an old lady who volunteers. So anyway, Ruby's Pantry is a food distribution site that operates the third Thursday of every month at First United Methodist Church on Skyline Parkway here in Duluth. It's also known as the Coppertop. Ruby's Pantry Coppertop is part of a larger organization called Ruby's Pantry that is located in North Branch, Minnesota. Our program actually is quite simple. Ruby's Pantry is for anyone who eats and is looking to extend their monthly grocery budget. We have no income and no residency requirements. We have a drive-through distribution where participants enter the church parking lot off from Skyline Parkway, and the parking lot volunteers direct them. Distribution begins at 4:30 and continues until 6 p.m. Where our program is slightly different is that each participant is asked to donate $25 for a grocery cart of food. We only accept cash at this time, no EBT, checks, or credit cards. Ruby's Pantry is not government funded, and a majority of our operating costs actually are derived directly from those people who participate in our program. Each person donates the $25, and of that $25 donation, $22.50 goes directly to Ruby's Pantry headquarters for operational costs like trucking, gas, warehouse, staffing. The remaining $2.50 per share remains in the local community to be used for benevolence and is administered by Ruby's Pantry Copper Top. So what we have done, we do have expenses, like we maintain a forklift and we have pallet jacks, and we have to have some incidental purchases from time to time. But when we have extra money, we've made many donations to Union Gospel Mission, CHUM, Bob Tavani Respite House, Life House, etc. So that's what we do with any extra money we might have. Our distribution site began to organize at the first part of 2010. And we organized out of the Copper Top. We assembled a small group of people, many of whom are still on our steering committee. And we were interested in establishing a local organization to help assist people who were food insecure or simply needed or wanted to stretch their food dollar. Reverend David Bard, who was the Copper Top's minister at the time, supported having such a program at First United Methodist. And when we first got started, in addition to the Copper Top, our local Ruby's Pantry received financial support from several other local congregations and individuals. And we continue to partner with local congregations and other institutions and agencies like UMD, the College of St. Scholastica, and the high schools and service organizations. And they help us out with supplying us with volunteers and publicity. Every month, Ruby's Pantry Copper Top distributes between 140 and 200 shares of food. Every share consists of a grocery cart full of food and occasionally non-food items like paper products. In our first year of operation, we had huge numbers of people who came to Ruby's Pantry out of curiosity, I think. But now we've settled into that 140 to 200 number each month. And we are always open to new and returning guests. We can probably reasonably handle about 300 shares. That would be a good number for parking lot and traffic patterns and so forth. Because we do have people who donate gift certificates to our site that will that cover that $25 donation that we request, we are able to provide people who may not have the financial resources or may not be aware that there is a donation requested. So anyone who comes to Ruby's Pantry is able to get food. We really try to turn no one away. We have many people who participate in Ruby's Pantry who are getting food for a neighbor, for a household of students maybe next door, for grandchildren, for parents who may be insecure. So people who come through Ruby's Pantry every month, they themselves may not be wanting to stretch their food dollar, but they're trying to help someone else who may be food insecure. We have had many people at Ruby's Pantry who drive through. It is a drive-through distribution, and they will make their $25 donation, and they will say, here's an extra $25 if someone comes through and does not have the funds. That's wonderful, and it's very heartwarming, and we see it a lot. A couple stories from Ruby's Pantry experiences, and this year we are celebrating our 15th year of being in existence here. Once we were interviewed by 3 middle school students. They had some project for school, and they did a great job asking the questions and dutifully writing down the responses and so forth. And at the end of the interview, one of the students became very serious, and she said that her family depended upon Ruby's Pantry. And it's the reason why she had suggested that they interview Ruby's Pantry Copper Top for their project. And that was so heartwarming. And you really, you realize that you're touching so many people every month. Another story, and this happened early on in our distribution history at the Copper Top. We were basically all done with the distribution. It was after the time that we were normally operating. So we were boxing up what was left to send out to Union Gospel or wherever. And this family drove into the parking lot with a rather large older car. And they said, oh, we're here for Ruby's Pantry. And we said, well, you know, we're just closing up. And they said, oh, and they said, well, is there anything left? And we said, oh, yes, you don't have to pay. We will gather together some food. Well, as luck may have it, at the end, we were able to probably give them actually more food than what they would normally receive. And we were helping them take the food to their car. They were very appreciative. We got to the car, and there were these 2 kids sleeping in the back seat of the car. And the mom apologized for being late, but what she said was, we drove down from the Iron Range, and we had to stop and help a relative along the way, and that's what made us late. And she said, we really appreciate the food. And we could tell that they really needed the food. So it's stories like that that make us remember the importance of the work that not only we do, but all of the other presenters here today, all of the work you do also that we're touching lives. More than 150 companies donate food and household products to Ruby's Pantry. And Ruby's Pantry, like I said, in North Branch, they have 87 of these distribution sites, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. And so once a month, these various sites receive a truckload of food. And then it's our job to distribute it. And we too, the food is donated to Ruby's Pantry. And we get a variety of things. And whatever food is donated to the larger Ruby's Pantry is passed on to us. So we do get a wide variety of food items, and we never know from month to month what we will be receiving, but we do get a variety. We have a protein, some sort of meat. We usually, for some reason, we have French fries or other frozen potatoes, oftentimes milk or other dairy products. We receive bread, assorted dry goods, snacks, pop, and sometimes we get produce that, is perishable. So it's dependent upon what is donated. We currently have an average of 50 to 70 volunteers every month to carry out this project. Many of our volunteers volunteer just about every month, and some people volunteer once a year, maybe through a specific group. Well, like I believe I already said, we are celebrating our 15th anniversary of Ruby's Pantry. We're actually doing that this Thursday, tomorrow. And we're celebrating in kind of a big way. We're giving out gift cards to Super One, to everyone who comes and gets a share of food. And we hope to have a bonus item included in our each of our distribution shares this month. And we had a very nice article written up in the Reader that is currently out. And so a lot of information in there if you're interested in Ruby's Pantry. Pick up the current edition of the Reader. So I think that's about it. And I really appreciate having this opportunity to share a little bit about Ruby's Pantry.
Thank you so much, Sue. I think that just ended things on a really great note. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? We've got in the links the community, some of the food guides and information, links to find locations for Ruby's Pantry and things like that. Questions? If you've got any questions, you can either put them in the chat or just take yourself off of mute and pose those questions.
I'm wondering how secure funding for Meals on Wheels and other similar programs are. I've read that they may be at risk, and I'm wondering if anybody can speak to that.
Well, I know Carrie's on with AEOA. I don't know if she wants to address that. I know from our point of view, from the Area Agency on Aging, there's definitely a lot of uncertainty in terms of future funding for programs, and we really don't know any more than anyone else does at this point. We're just waiting to see how things unfold at the federal level.
That's kind of the same thing. Yeah, we know what everyone else knows. I mean, as of right now, we still have funding, but the future is not in our hands, so everything's a wait and see. But right now, we're still going, and they did get okayed for the other grant for the home delivered meals for the 18, oh God, I forgot what age range. It's a whole different age range. They had given them that grant once and it was supposed to be a one-time thing, but then they okayed it for another. We haven't gotten that funding yet, but I know that they had gotten approved for it. So, I mean, right now things are still going. It's just a wait and see game as to how long.
Well, and I think we can't really understate the importance of when we have an opportunity advocating to our elected officials as to the importance of that funding and those programs to folks in our community and what it means to people here in our region.
And just an observation as somebody who is using the Grandma's Senior Dining Program, it's highly popular. One time recently when I went there to get takeout, bring home a couple salads for my husband and me, they said our kitchen is so swamped, we're not doing any takeout. So I went home empty-handed that day, but that program is deeply appreciated. And I understand it's been on the range for quite some time. So I'm glad to see it finally in Duluth and hoping that more restaurants can be funded to do something similar. One thing I really like about it is it's an opportunity for meeting nutrition needs, of course, but also for socializing. Sometimes I go there and there'll be a whole table up front with, 8, 10 elders sitting around having a good conversation, and that's so important too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just food that feeds us. It's our connections with other human beings as well.
If it's okay, can I jump in really quick? Sorry. So just to share with you kind of where we're at Second Harvest Northland in regards to any state or federal funding. So we don't get any direct support, but there's a lot of legislation that's in place, like the Farm to Food Shelf program. And we are looking at, again, we know as much as everybody else, but we're anticipating up to a 1.5 million pounds of food decrease of it. So that means that there'll be 1.5 million pounds of food that will not be available to us going forward, which is going to affect our ability to distribute to our agency partners along with the food that we're distributing through our own programs. And so that's going to have a large impact on our whole entire 15 county region. The one thing that we are trying to do is work really closely with our retail partners in accessing food through the local retailers, donated food that then we can not only distribute through our own programs, but we make available to our partner agencies. And we also connect those retailers to our partner agencies so they understand what food can they donate and then how can we keep it out of the waste stream and into the hands of those in need of food. So yeah, we're kind of holding tight like everybody else, but if you start to hear, maybe food shelves in your community say we aren't able to get as much food, the reality of it is that might be reality. And that's just what's available to us across the whole United States based on legislative changes. So.
Yeah, and it definitely has real consequences to people in our communities.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking we just had a food shelf quarterly meeting and hearing them talking about the effects and trying to scramble and figure out how do we reach out to people and start getting donations again, because this generation, it's not like the past generation where they would write out a $10 a month check. It's, so we have to find ways to reach out to this generation and get them donating to their local food shelves, because it's getting harder in every other way for them to get food and money.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you to Kelly from St. Louis County, Marilyn from AEOA, Trisha from Second Harvest, and Sue from Ruby's Pantry Copper Top. Your dedication to addressing the food insecurity in our region really makes a real difference in people's lives. So to our participants, we hope that this information helped you better understand the food assistance resources in our community. And remember, if you or someone you know needs assistance, not to hesitate to reach out to these organizations and other organizations in our community. Information will be included in, will be sent out to folks after, along with a link to a recording that you can share of this webinar with others that might be interested. We've got our other webinars coming up. We have one on supportive decision making coming up in September. We have one on utilizing transit in the region coming up in October, and one on wills and estate planning coming up in November. So lots of good content coming up. Thank you for taking time out of your day today to learn about this important issue. Together we can work towards ensuring that everyone in our region has access to nutritious food. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much.